You know, at the moment, it's still cheaper to run the air conditioner heater than what it is the gas heater.
It's crazy, isn't it? Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
the difference in prices and stuff that's going around, it's ridiculous. We lit our fire for the first time yesterday, because normally we have, I don't know, the chimney brings the fire right back into us. But Sunday, it was so still, the air. It was absolutely awesome. Hi, Colette. Hi, Karen. Hi, Phyllis. Welcome. Nice to see everybody hopping online. Hi, Karen.
Hey, Diane. Hey, crew. How you doing?
Hey, well, and you?
Hi, how are you?
Well, and you?
Great.
Fantastic. We're hoping,
Thank you.
we're hoping that everybody hops online as normal. I see another one. Hi, Daphne. How are you?
Fabulous. How you doing?
Well, thank you. We obviously, Chantel, we start at exactly midday because an hour goes very fast, especially when people start asking questions. So I'm sure we'll have more people hopping online. Everybody's sending me questions about where's the link and all that kind of stuff. So when you, in a minute or two, hi, Ursula.
Hi there.
Hello, Ursula. Hi.
Hello. How's everybody?
Oh,
Good,
well.
good. Well, thanks. That's Claire. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Claire.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Well,
Oh,
and
good.
you?
Good. Thanks.
Nice virtual background. You just disappear every now and again into the halo.
I'm going to Franschhoek.
Oh, nice. Going to test wine. You can do that tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, only thing is I don't drink wine, so
Okay, well, there we go.
it's a bit wasted. I'll leave it all for the rest of you who enjoy it.
There we go. Well, that we definitely hire out your services as the driver, the designated driver. Then,
Exactly. Indeed. I will go and you can enjoy.
Fantastic. Hi, Leslie. Nice to see you. Hi, Shona. Hi, David. Right, midday, here we go. For those of you who don't know me, I'm sure you all do. I'm Diane from Brand Analytics, and we try and do master classes. It was once a week. Thank goodness it's now once a month because it gets really hectic. But I'm so super excited to introduce you all to Chantel Botha. She is phenomenal. I watched one of her Zoom meetings a little while ago, and she had everybody almost dancing on the table with excitement as what she was sharing. So I'm going to hand it all over to Chantel so she can transport you into a different universe of her way of thinking and what customer journeys actually look like. Because the more I've told my clients what customer journeys are, the more they don't believe me. So I'm hoping today you're going to blow their mind and their socks off, right off. Over to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Chantel, and for your time.
All right, stunning, Diane. Thanks so much for the invitation and welcome, everyone. I'm excited to meet new people, and if I can help you maybe get a different perspective in the next 20 to 30 minutes, because I don't want to talk too much, but I want to show you a few things. And the lovely Johan has set us up so that you can see me close up on the camera, and I'm going to be working on the whiteboard in a little while, just to keep things interesting. But before we start, I thought it might be valuable to do a little bit of a stock take in this group and to just get a sense of where everyone is. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And if you want to grab your mobile phone and answer a few questions so that we can do a bit of a stock take of where this group is, that would be wonderful. And I'm going to give you instructions as soon as I've shared my screen with you. Let me just, Diane, if you could just give me the permissions to share screen, that would be lovely. ID, let me check.
It doesn't want to allow me, Johan.
If you make me co-host, I should be able to.
You should have it now.
Stunning. see. Righty, there's just one or two settings I have to do on my side. Johan, if you would just quickly help me.
So while Chantel's getting that ready, we'll just say hello to everybody again, all the other people that are joining us. Thank you so much for being here today. And let's see, are you sorted, Chantel?
I'm checking one setting, but while Johan's just helping me get that up and running, I will give you instructions. So we're gonna do a quick poll. And if you could, on your mobile phone, open your browser and go to the website www.menti.com.
How do you spell Menti?
M-E-N-T-I. So menti.com. And it's going to ask you for a code. And the code you're going to put in is 2130885. And I'm going to put that into the chat. So the code, let me do this. The code is 2130885. And I'm going to just quickly
Love the cartoon characters and the statements there, Chantel. It's the most appropriate, I think, at certain times.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm seeing your answers coming through, and I'm gonna just quickly see if I can get that up on the screen to share with you.
But you can do this on your desktop as well. You don't have to do it on your mobile.
Stunning, thank you for that.
It helps me because I've got multiple screens, so that's why I can do it.
Alrighty, and I've got my screen shared with you so you can see the answers there. And, you know, as an entrepreneur, I think I've fluctuated since March between shitting myself and then I'm okay and then I'm not okay. And I think, you know, there's been various evolutions happening in terms of how we offer our services to the market. So I want to show you some of the methods today that we teach to others and that we've used in our own business to really reimagine the way we do business. So the business that I'm in, we present a lot of workshops, a lot of culture programs to large corporates, and most of it is face-to-face. And you know, there hasn't been a lot of that. So we've really had to reinvent how we engage with people. And a lot of that reinvention had to happen inside of me. It's not a, you know, however much I want to blame the technology, a lot of it was the way I thought about my business, the way I thought about my customers. And I want to share with you some of the secrets to our success and the fact that 5 months down the line, we're probably doing better than what I ever would have imagined. All right, so I'm going to go to the next question. And I want to have you just think for a moment, your biggest challenge right now. And usually when someone asks your challenges, you can rattle them off in bullet points, but I want you to focus on what is your single biggest challenge right now. And as those things come up on the screen, again, I feel like I'm home. You know, it's the self-doubt, the negativity, you know, getting clients to pay on time, getting clients to show up and be committed, time and resources, visibility, cash flow. You know, growing corporate clients, making sales. It's not as easy now just booking a meeting and going to pitch to someone. Now we've got to look at a very different way of grabbing people's attention when everybody's very, very noisy. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope from what you see on the board that one thing is you're not alone. We all have similar challenges, and hopefully in this group, what's magnificent is that you can support each other. So my next question for you, what do you need to overcome these challenges? What do you think is the skill, the superpower that you need to overcome some of these challenges? So you can see again, they're a mix. We need the right people, we need capital, we need networks, we need connections with other people. Some of the innovation side, we need to reinvent ourselves, our value proposition to our customers. There's that aspect of focus, organization skills. I secretly hold the belief that I'm the shittest salesperson that exists. I don't have a lot of confidence. I'm really scared of people telling me no, and all of a sudden I've got to think about myself in a very different way. I've got to really, you know, a lot of our products are probably the best kept secret, and I've got to really stand behind them and have confidence, and that's really hard. So the vision forward, that's another difficult thing. We had an amazing session earlier this year where, you know, people kind of used design thinking on their own lives, and they developed scenarios. And I think what's really difficult about scenarios at the moment is we just don't know what's going to happen next. The world's much more uncertain than what we ever thought it would be. So I'll share with you a few things that you can potentially do for your own business. Alrighty, I've got one more question, and then I'm going to move to the board and I'm going to show you some techniques. And what I'll ask Diane to do is, Diane, I'm going to send you this in a PDF. If you could mail it out to the folks who attended, as well as some of the models I'm going to share with you. Diane's going to send you a PDF with templates that you can go and fill in for your own business. All right, so your next question is really, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of your most important customer, the one that you value most, the one that you want to nurture. And I want you to think about what's their biggest challenge right now. Alrighty, and there you see a mix of things, a lot of the financial aspect, people questioning where are they going to spend money, just a whole reprioritization. What was important to them 6 months ago may not be that important to them right now. So reaching their target audience, surviving, time. So we see a lot of people still working from home, a lot of people that have reduced hours, the fact that people don't travel. And just a ton of uncertainty, a lack of motivation. So a lot of the leaders that I work with share with me that, you know, they are afraid of becoming irrelevant. You know, the departments that they work in, all of a sudden projects have been put on hold. Some of those projects have been on hold for 4 or 5 months, and people are saying, well, why did we have this project to start with? Nothing's broken. Nothing's happened. You know, why are we doing this? So I think a whole challenge around people's own skills, abilities, people's confidence is suffering in the midst of this. So I want you to just for a moment, now that you look at this list, think about the role that you play in the lives of your clients, aside from potentially a product or a service that you provide to them. There's potentially a different kind of support role, a different kind of, you know, setting them up for success. And we're going to delve into a few models to look at that. So thank you very much for answering so honestly. And I think a lot of challenges that hopefully I'm going to show you some models that's gonna help you with that. So I'm going to scratch a little bit on the whiteboard, and I want to show you a few things that we teach our corporate clients. And I know the writing might be a little bit small, and my board might be a bit shiny. I'm just going to check that, Johan, potentially we can just close those. Are you gonna, okay. Johan's going to zoom in. Johan's going to zoom in for you so that you can see. So 4 things. I want to cover 4 things today. So my first question to you is, you know, who am I? If you're the owner of your brand and you've got a team, this might be a really opportune time to refocus on really who you are. And what is the promise? What is the promise that you put out there? Now, the question of identity, I think is becoming so much more important. So we call someone's identity or the experience you want to deliver to customers, we call that experience essence. And I wanna tell you a little story. I always draw essence like this. But see this as your secret sauce. So getting back to the core of what's your secret sauce. And I'll never forget, Johan and I made a trip to Rwanda maybe 3 years ago, and we discovered this insane chili oil. It's made from ghost peppers, and it's called akabanga. And if you don't like hot stuff, you're gonna hate akabanga. Okay, it is shit hot. I got a whole different discipline system in place with my kids, because I would just give them like it comes in a little eyedropper, and it's got a warning. It comes in an eyedropper, and it's got a warning that says you shouldn't put more than 4 drops of this on your food. But it is the most amazing fragrance. It has this smoky chili. I mean, Tabasco doesn't have Tabasco has nothing on this acabanga oil. So I fell so much in love with this acabanga oil that I bought it like in big quantities. I think they sent us like 30 bottles or something. And I used to have a little bottle in my handbag because I couldn't stand getting somewhere and I can't have like food with my acabanga. That's how it turned out. But that acabanga really made me think. And if you go on YouTube and you search for acabanga, okay, you're gonna find this American guy that does this marketing little video for acabanga. He's sitting in the middle of America, but this guy is crazy about acabanga. And I think what I want to challenge you as a brand is to really distill your identity in terms of this secret sauce. If you were acabanga, how would you make people go berserk that they'll make a video about your brand? And I think it's really, there's a lot of bullshit out there, okay? And many brands make promises that they break. And I believe the brands that stick to their promises, the brands that actually give a shit about their customers, and the brands that are authentic, even if you muck up, even if you do something wrong, the brands that are authentic are the ones that are going to stand out. So in the pack that I hand will mail you, there's an essence worksheet, and I want you to go through the aspects on that essence worksheet and just circle back to who are you and how do you want to show up. I really believe in the noise at the moment. We had, since the lockdown, we had workshops once a week, free workshops. We had, over 500 people from all over the world show up in these workshops, and some of them became regulars, and they came because it was the one place that we told them the truth. We told them this is a shit show. We told them, this is terrible. We're all in this together, and we were just brutally honest and brutally generous. We were just generous in supporting people and giving them methods for free. And a lot of people challenge me and they say, Chantel, you give your IP away. And I go, you know what? If it helps someone, then let them use it. If they need help, I know they're going to come back to me. I believe there's a ton of shit in this world to fix, and we need help fixing experiences. All right, so that's what I want to say about defining who you are. The next thing is, who do you serve? All right, and I wanna change this slightly. Like, who do I want to serve? Because who you're serving right now might not be the person who you want to serve in future. So one of the things that's really hard at the moment is I've got customers that drive me nuts. I feel like if I could take a pen and get through my Zoom screen, I would want to just stab them. And not in the eye, like in the nose. I want it to hurt, and I want them to still see how badly their nose looks. But some of my clients just drive me nuts. And I question, the person who I become when I interact with them. I don't like her. She's passive aggressive. She's defensive. She turns into quite a mean bitch, and she's not authentic because she's nice to them over Zoom. And as soon as I end that Zoom call, I go, fuck, I'm gonna kill someone. So I've had to look at them and say, am I being true to myself by serving them? Or should I give them to someone else or phase them out? And that's really hard. And I think what's happened to me over the last 5 months is I've gotten much more clear about who I want to serve. Right? I want to serve someone who is committed. Okay? And let's just talk straight. I want to work with leaders who will put their balls on the line. Not someone who delegates it to their junior people. So someone who's committed, someone who wants, they want what I've got. And that takes a different kind of a leadership and a different kind of commitment. So I've gotten much more clear about who I want to serve, and that's a challenge I want to give you is, getting clear about who you want to serve. Then, once I know who I want to serve, I want to tell you about the method of empathy mapping. All right, so what we did for all of our customers in March, all of the leaders we work with, we created like a war room, like, the walls that you see in the CSI when they're doing those crime scene investigations, and they put those little wires up with pins and shit, and they track the people who are involved in this crime scene. We did one of those walls for our customers, and we did empathy mapping for each of the leaders that we work with. And the dimensions that we mapped for them is, we said, what are their challenges right now? Just like I had on the questionnaire for you, what are their challenges? What are their goals? What are their goals right now? The next thing is we looked at what are their fears? When they lay awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, what are they worried about? What is the fear that they will never voice to someone else? And then the fourth thing there is, what are their needs right now? All right, and I'll give you a quick example. So one of the leaders we work with is the director of a really large facilities management unit. She manages, I don't know, a budget of a few billion a year in terms of the facilities that they maintain, right? So when I went through this, her challenges were, it's really, really difficult when you've got to keep a really large facility going to social distance, send people home, implement new policies, just the organizational and logistical nightmare of managing a large facility. People can't just shut doors and bugger off. Her biggest issue was losing face with the people that she served. And I would say a lot of people are walking around with imposter syndrome, and what we saw is just an exaggeration. Every inferiority, every uncertainty has just been exaggerated by this COVID thing. She was lying awake at night thinking how she's going to motivate this team to keep going. And her goal was to keep on delivering and to keep service levels at a satisfactory level. So that really helped us in terms of knowing, listen, the stuff we're doing for her is so low on her list of priorities right now. The best thing we can do is back off. So we sent her an email saying, we know your life must be incredibly difficult right now. We know you have probably reprioritized everything you do, and you need to make 100 other decisions. We want to say to you, we're here. You let us know when you're ready to have a conversation with us. The best thing we could do for that relationship is back off. Reaffirm, but back off. All right, so that was a really useful tool. So those 4 aspects. What are their challenges? What are their goals? What are their fears? And what are their needs? If you can take the fear that is most prominent to them, and you can help them with that, either by giving them support or solving problems for them that's going to reduce that fear, that's where you're going to hit the sweet spot. So whatever business you think you're in, we are now all in the business of reducing fear for our customers, because everybody is shitting themselves about something. Might not be the same thing that's scaring us, but everybody's in the same boat. All right, so that is talking about my customer. Now, part of why we exist, and I think everybody knows the Simon Sinek golden circle, start with why. This is now a good time to dust that off and look at, why do you exist? So what are the problems you're solving? And if you were solving a problem prior to March, is that still relevant? Because what we've seen is the really, really smart companies have taken their value proposition and they might still be doing the same product or service, but they're looking at what sits on the fringes of this. And they're innovating their value proposition in very, very interesting ways. And either you can expand your value proposition, or you can start morphing your value proposition to turn into something else. So you would know the kind of the prominent examples around, you know, chemical companies that made one thing and now they're making hand sanitizer. Or we've got a good friend who used to make all of our clients, all of our kind of promotional stuff. She's now making face masks. So you know the prominent things, but I think we're merely scratching the surface in terms of what's possible. The other thing, when you look at you know, why are you? We've had some really, really interesting experiences. So we launched a learning platform in the last 3 months. We've got just under 400 students on this learning platform. And all of a sudden, we are approached by people that I would not even have thought about reaching out. And we are now collaborating with really prominent other consultancies to deliver leadership programs on a global scale. So I was very reluctant about partnerships and about collaboration. Whenever someone approached me about collaboration, it would usually be, oh, give us your mailing lists and we'll spam your customers. That was kind of the level of collaboration. Or it was a software company that would say, okay, we'll sponsor your event, but then, you know, we need to implement and force our software on everyone else. And I'm not into that kind of collaboration. Unless you give real value, I'm not co-branding with you. I'm not sharing my customers' details with you. So I think thinking about collaboration and who already has your customers here, and how can you bring bigger value to your customer? All right, so that's my third aspect. And then we get to the fourth one. And here again, I'm really going to invite you, take 2 hours, block it off in your calendar. Make yourself some snacks and a coffee or a tea, or pour a gin and tonic, or pour a glass of wine, but really take the time and follow this fourth piece of advice. Even if your customer is not your ideal customer, even if you haven't done your brand identity, your experience essence yet, do this fourth. So if you ignore everything else I've said, do this fourth one. All right, so this is going to really help you stand out from the crowd. So one of the issues at the moment is, let's say you're a coach or you're providing a product that all of a sudden with the current landscape, anyone can provide that product. You know, someone sitting in New Zealand might all of a sudden be a competitor to you. They weren't that 6 months ago, but now the world's kind of become a really, really small place. So the way you can stand out is by creating a remarkable journey. And I want to quickly tell you about how we form memories. So if I ask you, think about the last experience you had that was either fantastic or horrible. Maybe you can just give me one of those reactions, a thumbs up or a heart. If you've upgraded your Zoom, you'll now have new reactions. Did you see the hearts and the little smiley face with the tears? So if people can't think about an experience that you had that was fabulous or horrible, that means, that just confirms most experiences are bland. Most experiences are bland and they don't leave a memory impression. You only remember experiences if they were fabulous or if they were shit. And if they were shit and they were never resolved, you're probably going to keep on telling that story forever. You're going to tell everyone how bad this company was, and you're trying to round up the truth so that people can feel sorry for you and hate the company, and then you gang up against the brand. All right, so how we form memories is by peaks. And if you haven't watched Daniel Kahneman's TED Talk, I'll include that in the link that I sent you, Diane. But Daniel Kahneman talks about the peak engine. So we will remember the peaks of an experience, and we will remember the end of an experience. And he did a whole lot of research on how people remember the pain during colonoscopies before they gave people that lovely drug that makes you forget about the pain. But how we can use this information is we can design experiences with peaks. And when I say we can design it with peaks, we can design positive and negative peaks into experiences. Sometimes when a customer is in the honeymoon, let's take when you open a bank account and you really want this bank account and you've qualified for this silver or gold or platinum account. You're willing to fill in forms and you're willing for them to take your urine sample and your fingerprints and your grandma's background checks and all of that stuff because you really want this account, all right? Then a year later or 10 years later, you've been with the same bank and now they make you go through all kinds of fika shit, okay? Now you're not willing because you've had that account. They should know you. They should make it easy for you, all right? So sometimes we can design our experiences to, at times, put some skin in the game for customers to actually work a little bit harder without annoying them, just knowing that they're still committed. All right, so let me tell you how these journeys work. And I'm going to quickly show you, and again, you will get a template. So if you go and look at your journey with customers, there's always kind of a stage where it's before they committed and before they sign up with you. Then kind of during the time that they're with you, if you deliver a product or a service to them, you know, maybe it's a project of 3 months, or maybe it's a coaching relationship of 6 months, or whatever might be the case. And then there's after. Now, usually the experience doesn't quite start when you think it starts, right? So often we think, okay, it's once they've signed the contract or once they've accepted the quote. But if you're clever, you can design a whole lot of things into the experience actually before they start. I always tell this story, and I'm gonna tell it quite quickly because I want to leave some time for questions. I worked with a group of Pick n Pay store managers, and I asked them, where does your journey start? And they said to me, the landing strip. I said, well, what is the landing strip? They said, no, it's that area of the store where you enter. There's usually like the sales crates and the shit that you have to navigate through to actually get to the stuff you want to buy. And I said to them, no, you get this all wrong. The journey starts when I'm tired at 5:30 on a Wednesday afternoon and I've just fetched the kids from school and I get home and there's no milk and bread. That's where your journey starts. Because then I've got to get the kids back in the car, put your safety belt on, we drive there, we finally find parking at Pick n Pay. It's a really bad idea to go to Pick n Pay at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday evening. But once I've parked, I get out of the car and who do I see? Gym Mom. Okay, Gym Mom's in a brand new 4x4. She's wearing really nice gym clothes, expensive gym clothes, perfect makeup. And this is part of my journey. I'm not Gym Mom. I've just told my kids words that I don't want them to ever repeat. Now we're entering the store. I get past the landing strip. Where's the bread and the milk? Back corner. There's always some kind of a back corner. Okay, now I've got to navigate through this store. I've just smiled at Gym Mom. I try and be friendly. I try and not show how envious I am of her skinny size 34 body and her new car. By aisle 3, I tell my 3 children, I brought you into this world without an epidural. I will fucking take you out if I have to. Okay? Who's around the corner? Your mom. Okay? So my story is not about bread and milk. It is about staying a good mom while I navigate these hours. And that's even before I get to the checkout. So in each of these moments, it's about, you know, what can make or break my experience. And the experience is not about how I feel about Pick n Pay. By the time I'm in the queue and there's 3 tills open and I yell for the store manager, you know, I'm pretending to be angry, and maybe I am angry at them, but really, who am I angry at? I'm angry at myself for not planning, for putting myself in that horrible position where I've got to go to a store at 6 o'clock on a week evening and be faced with this myriad of things that are trying to tell me I'm not good enough. I already feel not good enough as it is. I don't need your mom and, you know, the Pick n Pay manager to tell me that I'm really I'm a terrible housewife. So just a silly example, but it's so important. If you think about your experience as how am I making the other person feel about themselves when they interact with my brand? Am I making them feel worthy? Am I making them feel successful? So I want to quickly show you how we unpack these journeys. All right? So you take your journey with your customer and you break it into moments. So let's say you could even take a timeline and say, well, in a 3-month period, what are the things that happen between me and my customer? You know, maybe it's someone contacts me for my product. Then I have a meeting with them on Zoom and I get their needs. Then I do a quote for them. Then, and you unpack your journey moment by moment by moment by moment. So think about this as a movie script where you look at the scenes where you have, you know, interaction with your customer. Often when they're making a decision, think about what happens offline that you don't see. Often people, let's say someone sells life insurance. They go, okay, so I've given the guy a proposal for life insurance and he hasn't come back to me yet. What is he doing? He's talking to his wife. He's saying, can we afford this? And very often we box the customer into a single, you know, it's an individual and they're making a decision. And, you know, that should be the most important decision in their life. There's a ton of other things happening. When people recruit, I say to them, if you've interviewed a candidate, that candidate's being interviewed by many other people. How are you going to make sure that your brand stands out? Because there's a ton of parallel journeys happening with other brands. All right. So once you've plotted out these moments, you then want to go down and say, all right, what does my customer expect in this moment? And you will get a copy of this template. So what are their expectations? How do I want them to feel? So what is the desired emotions that I want them to associate with my brand? So for brand love, we want people to feel confident. Okay, we want to pour confidence into everything that they do. They must never feel, oh shit, I don't know how to do this. All right? Then how can I exceed their expectations? So how can I bring innovation into this? We had a meeting earlier with a customer that's reviewing our proposal and they go, we've received a whole lot of proposals from other companies and we're struggling to compare. And I go, that's brilliant. That's good. That's what's supposed to happen because you won't get the service that we're giving you anywhere else. And I'm sorry we're making your life hard, but it's because we do a decent job. That's why you're struggling to compete. And then how can you fail expectations? So often what we do is we train people on this is the process and this is the standard operating procedure, but we never train them on what's going to go wrong. And the one guarantee I can give you, shit will happen. Okay, things are going to go wrong. Your customers will get angry with you. You will disappoint them. But it's much more important to design what's going to happen when I fail the expectations here. And then you can prepare all your people. Some of you have people working for you, junior people. and potentially they haven't been given the view of what happens in this journey. How can I delight? How can I disappoint? And only then, once you've done that, you can map your backstage story. What are all the processes? What are all the systems that make this happen? And I promise you, if you go through your journey meticulously, step by step by step, you're going to discover things that you haven't thought about before. The other thing that's going to happen, if you do this for your competitors, go through their journeys, stalk them. I mean, I'm surprised that I haven't landed in jail yet for industrial espionage. But every client that we sign up, when it's a Capitec bank, we go and have a look at ABSA and Standard and everyone they see as their competitors, and we map these journeys next to each other. When COVID happened, we looked at what is Deloitte doing, what is McKinsey doing, what is IDEO doing, and we mapped what are they busy having conversations about on their blogs, on their websites. How are they capturing the hearts and the minds of their customers? And within a month, we knew that our approach was very differentiated because we didn't do all the freaking SWOT analysis and this and that. We worked with the hearts and the minds, and we said to people, yes, you're scared, but what are you going to do next? How are you looking after yourself? How are you keeping your spirit positive? How are you inspiring your people? What's happening with your kids at home? Have you given them coloring books? How are you keeping them busy? Because everybody, all of a sudden, we're faced with a lot of fear. All right, so that's my story. I'm gonna, and you will get templates of all of this. Diane will mail it to you. Take your time, fill it in. But now I'm gonna stop talking and let's take some questions. And you can just unmute yourself and go for it.
The group always starts off slowly and then suddenly it just comes at you. So be prepared, because I know it's going to happen again. It happens every single time. So go, Pam. I can see you unmuted. Are you ready? Go.
Chantel, that was amazing. I just want to tell you what a huge eye-opening moment I had when you're talking about plotting your client's journey. It's like, why have I not thought of this before? And so thank you. I've connected with you on LinkedIn. We're going lots to talk about. There's just so much. I don't. There's no questions yet, so it's coming.
Absolutely. And see this as a tapestry. I had a mentor 12 years ago, Lou Carbone, and he talks about this experience essence as the motif of your brand. So see it as a picture running through fabric. And sometimes what you see and what your clients see is very different. So you need to take this and embroider who you are into everything that you do. And, you know, I'm talking with a lot of vulnerability. You know, our website has been a fucking embarrassment to me, like forever. It's like a mechanic's car. It's like we do this stuff for other people, but our website was terrible. And, you know, 2 weeks ago, I said, enough with this shit. And I spent like a whole Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday, and we revamped it, and it's not there yet. It's not exactly what I want yet, but it's a lot better. And, you know, I cannot tell you the pride I feel that, you know, the homepage of our website is starting to reflect who we are. It's starting to say what we do. And that takes time and discipline. And I think very often we neglect our own experience in this busyness. I need to get this proposal out. I need to follow up with that client. I've got a workshop here. I'm so busy that I don't pause and actually block out time to say, my identity is very important. I need to just pause and do some of that stuff. So I really, if you put in the work, you're going to reap the benefits.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chantel. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I tell all my clients that 95% will have their clients incorrect. And I think that this journey, customer journey mapping, will actually highlight more and more of that to each and every one of you. So really take some time and do it. It's awesome. Questions? Anybody else? You're not allowed to flood Chantel after this. We're going to block you all unless you ask a question today.
I think it's amazing. I've never thought of it this way. I mean, when you describe the Pick and Pay story, I can completely relate. I lose my in Pick and Pay regularly because they don't think about the customer. They keep rearranging the store and it's head office, and I'm saying, stop with it. It's the customer. Think about the customer. So they should definitely, if they're not using your services, they should definitely use it, because I don't use Pick and Pay anymore, except the little family one down the road, specifically because of that. They're never thinking about the customer. So I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to getting that document so that I can do it on my business. So just eye-opening. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. And the thing is, you can, the amazing thing about this is every year, like you have, you know, your budgeting for the year or your one-page strategic plan, you should revamp your journey. You know, at the start of the year, you should say, well, where's my customer now? Are they asking for something different? Has my competition caught up? And you should really use this as your competitive analysis weapon to say, you know, this is how I'm going to differentiate. Because I say often to people, once you started with customer journeys, it's like teenage sex. You know, you don't just do it once and then you abandon it. You need to keep on doing it. Can you get better at it? And you want to keep on stepping up that game. And I truly believe that if you invest time and if you see your interactions with your customer as, I'm giving them more confidence, I'm actually educating them, even if they don't sign your quotes and your proposals right now. I promise you, the people that have come to us in the last 5 months that are asking us for work, it's people that we spent time with 5 years ago, 3 years ago. It's not love. Yes, sure, we're banking some love now, and we're doing some work with new people, but a lot of it is time that we've invested long ago, where people are saying, listen, if I'm going to trust someone right now, I'm going to trust Chantel and the brand love team, because we know they cut through the bullshit. Maybe 3 years ago, I wasn't ready for it. And maybe 3 years ago, it was nice to have the fancy consultants that gave us the 180-page documents. You know what? Now I have one decision. I have one budget. I'm going to go for someone who doesn't take shit from anyone and someone who's going to be honest with me. You know, our tagline is, we like a friend who'll tell you you've got spinach hanging out of your front teeth, or a booger in your nose, or your flies open. You know, people want people to tell them right now, your fly's open and you need to do something about it.
Absolutely. There's a question quickly here in the chat. Tamsin says she runs a guest house, and therefore I'm always thinking about my customer. How else can I step up my game?
Sure. Tamsin, I would go and do start with your empathy map, okay? Map what people are feeling right now around checking into a guest house. I would do different personas. I would do, you know, the business person. I would do a family person. I would do someone who's potentially isolating in your guest house. So do a few personas, look at your empathy map, and think about what are the things you think they really need right now. That's going to shape your marketing messages. That's going to shape your whole experience. So I would start with the empathy map, because that's going to unlock a lot of your thinking around how can you truly speak to the emotions that people are feeling right now.
And the experience with you, that's going to become more and more important after lockdown. Everybody needs to create an experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions? We've got 8 minutes left. Otherwise, we're all going to just look at one another.
Hi, ladies.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. Hi. Just thank you very much. As a marketing business, yeah, it just makes one sort of, you know, just sit up and and realize that there's always room for improvement, especially with the fact that we are marketing our clients' businesses, but that this can apply to absolutely every business, in terms of the journey and, just holding their hand and making them feel comfortable and all of that. So yeah, thank you. Just some great information to bed down and keep moving forward with.
We also need to look at the areas where it's going to get blocked. Like why could customers not continue with you? Or what would their reason be? Like Chantel says, on your customer journey mapping, understanding when do customers not keep following the journey with you and why. Chantel, any ideas of some sort of suggestions of why customers would stop along the way?
Yeah, so we call, in the journeys, we call that moments of truth. So as you go through your journey, ask in your journey, what are the possible decisions my customer's making right now? And usually by the time they make a decision to leave you, you need to back up, you need to reverse and say, well, what happened before that? And what happened before that? Usually when something goes wrong in a journey, let's say it's a customer that's really, really angry. It's never an isolated incident. So it's always kind of layered. This is like the third time you've done this to me. So I think what really happens once you've got your journey and you make your staff aware of your journey, when the first thing happens that's not to a customer's expectation, we've even had people that have the journey up on the wall and they go and put a sticker there and they say, okay, now we need to innovate around this. We need to make sure that this doesn't happen to people and that we deal with this differently. The other thing that a lot of entrepreneurs don't do and a lot of brands don't do, you don't have to come up with this journey by yourself. This can be an amazing opportunity for you to reconnect with your customers. Take your 4 or 5 top customers and say to them, listen, I'm in a position now where I really want to reinvent and reimagine how I engage with customers, and either in a one-on-one interview or get them into a Zoom meeting and say to them, what's been hard in your journey with us? What's been great in your journey with us? In these steps, how can I better satisfy your expectations? I've often, with the big corporates that we work with, I say to them, invite your angry customers to a forum, okay? And I love angry customers because by the time they come, they're not angry anymore, okay? And just by mere fact of inviting them, they know that you're now paying attention to them. You're now listening to what they're saying. And the thing about us, if something goes wrong in an experience, it's almost impossible for our brains not to want to fix it. So I had a situation with Dion's Wired with a vacuum cleaner 5 years ago. I've never been in Dion's Wired again because I lost my shit so badly that I'm just too embarrassed and ashamed to go back there. But I had 3 kids, 3 Jack Russells, and they said they're going to send away the vacuum cleaner and it takes up to 8 weeks. I'm going like, why can you not just give me a loan one? I don't care how beat up it is, but like, do you know how much dog hair is in my house if I don't have a vacuum cleaner for 8 weeks? So what happens when we get angry, we think about all the possible ways that people can fix this. I actually told her to take the vacuum cleaner and put it somewhere, and I hope she didn't put it there because it would have been sore. And, my daughter later brought back a picture of her mother that she drew at school where I had teeth this long and spit dripping off my teeth. And I asked my daughter, what inspired this particular portrayal? She said, Mommy, that day you were in that store, you looked like a dinosaur with, I thought you were going to eat that lady up. Not a picture that I want framed on my wall, for the next, especially now that I'm in menopause. But the issue is, if you ask your angry customers, they will tell you how you should have fixed it. So I conduct these groups with, we call them co-design groups with angry customers, and they tell us about the journey, and I make them CEO, each only for 2 minutes. You can be CEO of this brand, and you need to tell me the first thing that you're going to change when you're CEO of this brand. I record this on video, so I play it to the executives that pay me a lot of money to do this work. And I usually just pay them those 2 minutes. And I said, ultimately, this is what your customers want. They didn't even get paid your salary, but this is what they came up with in 2 minutes. Can you do this? And usually they go, oh, they didn't ask for what I thought they would be unreasonable. I go, no, they're not unreasonable. They just want a fair, good value service that's respectful, that doesn't make them feel like shit.
Absolutely. Chantel, there's a message here in the chat. Rebecca wants to know, what is the change that coaches, speakers, facilitators, trainers require to stand out or reinvent themselves? Especially nowadays, every second person claims to be a coach.
Every second football, yes. I know. So I think, again, it's about your promise. And it's about understanding right now, when budgets are so constrained, you know, what would a coach do for someone right now? Because I do think we're dealing with a different level of fear and different level of anxiety. I think everyone's kind of pushed down to Maslow's kind of bottom level of the hierarchy. So unless your company is sponsoring your coaching, you know, you need to be very clear about what that value proposition is and how you are going to shift someone. Because my fear is a lot of people that were slightly stuck before this, they're even going to get more stuck. So I really think it's about your communication. It's about, little pieces of advice, and you can use this or not use this. One of the things we've done for our training is we're running information sessions, and we're saying to people, come, check us out, see what we do, ask us questions, just have a conversation with us. Our information sessions have been booked up. So I think some of that initial chemistry sessions for coaches, open that up to groups. So let people come. I think one of the things that I've certainly wanted to do is show people, yes, we're afraid, but we don't have to act afraid. We can manage our fear, but we don't have to act afraid. So if I'm sitting in a Zoom, we had a Zoom call the other day with 150 people. I mean, I was sweating. I had like perspiration marks this big under my arms. And I was afraid that something would go wrong, but I wasn't acting afraid. I was just speaking to what was happening. And I think some of that authenticity people really enjoy. I think speaking, especially paid speaking, is a little bit more of a challenge. And I'm probably not a good person to give that advice because I've never really charged for speaking. But I think, again, when someone asks me now to speak for the session, I got up at 5 o'clock this morning and my intention was, what do you need right now? How can I shift your perspective? And without any arrogance, I had an hour of your life now, and I see that as precious. I had an hour of you listening to me, and I want to make a difference in your life. And I think sometimes just reaffirming your intention and then communicating with that intention, that changes everything. I hope that answers your question.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody. Can we all share with this group what business each... sorry, we'd love to, but our hour's up. I will, whatever Chantel sends me, I will send out to everybody else. And we do meet once a month. So if you want to go and be part of this, go onto my website and just go and put your name in for the newsletter, and we will send you more going forward. So for all of those of you that don't know, it's brandanalytics.co.za, and Chantel is Brand Love. Please go and connect with Chantel on LinkedIn and do some business with one another. That's the whole point, is to lift the game of business here and to grow businesses. Huge thank you, Chantel, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining in, for hopping on. It was super awesome to see everybody again. We are 2 minutes past. We are 2 minutes late. Goodbye. See you next month. Have a nice day.
Bye, everyone. Blessings.